Hello. Welcome to the next video in our bronze to mythic grind. We are in silver, and it is time to win another draft. I have no idea what draft thing I was going to speak about today, because I couldn't really think of anything more, so we're just going to run a good draft, and we'll just go through our normal stuff here. So we got a nice Muse Seeker, a Poisoner's Apprentice, green removal spell, Tome Blast, Tam. Pretty good pack. I mean, the rare is pretty unplayable. What are we trying to do here? I think the best, grind card is obviously Tam. Tome Blast is probably the best common in the pack. Just a pretty strong card. And then Poisoner's Apprentice can be really good if you're in black-green. But I'm going to try to stay away from that. So I'm really kind of between this Tome Blast and the Tam, I think. And if we take Tam, we can maybe wheel the Terrafractal, Quick Study, or Colonian Tackle. While if we take Tome Blast, there's nothing really here that we can wheel. Maybe a Johnny's Response. So we'll go with Tam, see how that works. Alright, we got a Quandrix Charm. If we want to stay blue-green, which is definitely a possibility. There's a Fractal Mascot, which maybe we could wheel. There's a Sundering Archaic, which is one of the better Converge payoffs. And then other than that, you got some pretty poopy cards. Cheerful Osteomancer is fine. It would be interesting to take a Converge card early and then try to build that deck. It is one of the few decks we have yet to draft on the channel, and I do like it a lot, but seeing a Quandrix Charm when we picked up Tam, it just seems like the right pick. Being able to counterspell or give a guy 5/5 is pretty good. You pretty much never destroy an enchantment. Let's see. So if we had gone with the Converge card, there's nothing really here that helps us with that. Best cards in the pack: Silvercode Charm, Rabbit Attack, maybe one of these white cards. So, but for us, we have Fractal Mascot or the Banishing Betrayal. We could consider a white card, maybe splash it, but it wouldn't be. I don't think we would want to splash either of these cards. I mean, Ennis can be good with some of the blue-green guys, like strictly with Fractal Mascot. And I think we will take the Mascot. I like playing one of these in this deck. The ability to tap and stun is nice. Alright, seeing a Cuboid Colony pick 4 is pretty good for us, I would say. I mean, seeing a Braid is also interesting. That's a card you would pick highly, so I'm kind of surprised. There's also a Run Behind, which, when you're playing green-blue in pretty much every single draft format, one thing you have to consider is that you're going to have bad removal, right? Your removal is going to be either fight spells or bounce spells. But you do need them, otherwise you're not going to have a good deck. So we will be on the lookout for more Run Behinds as the draft goes on. But for now, I'm pretty happy with the Cuboid Colony. The Infirmary Healer's nice. 2 mana, 2/3 that can gain some life. An X spell to trigger increment, but the Colony is just too good. Okay, we see no blue-green cards here, which is pretty bad for us. Best cards in the pack are probably the Glyph Mage, the Cheerful Osteomancer, and the Bogwater Lumerette. Not really looking at Zephi. It's not really good with the blue-green spells because a lot of them are X. It's okay with the 5 mana, draw 3. Daydream is good with Fractal Mascot. Cheerful Osteomancer is a solid card to get back some of these men. So what do we want here? I think I'll take the Osteomancer. It's probably one of the more splashable cards. And it, black-green's a deck, so being Sultai is better than being blue-green-white. Here we have Spell Pierce, Mindful Biomancer, and Landscape Painter. Spell Pierce is either really good or really bad. Mindful Biomancer and Landscape Painter are solid 2-drop creatures. The Painter is nice because you get like an increment spell that you can use, like a 5-mana spell that you can use for increment later, but the Biomancer is a little bit more consistent. I'm gonna go with the Painter. Okay, some white rare in the Joined Researchers. This isn't really a high pick, so it kind of makes sense why it's here. But there's also a ton of white that's still here, which I don't like too much, considering we're not trying to play white. I mean, I'm just gonna take the blue-green land. If I were to take a white card, it would probably be the Ajani's Response, as removal. It's good to get splash removal in blue-green since you don't really have a lot. Leech Collector could have been interesting if we had taken the Bogwater Lumerette. Alright, this is pick 8. We're seeing some good green-blue cards, so I'm happy about that. Since we picked up a Fractal Mascot, we don't need another one, but we will pick up a Chelonian Tackle. Removal is removal. Now here's another one. We will pick that as well. We see the black-green card wheeling because it's bad, and one of the better black-green commons. I would assume black-green would end up being open. Here we have a Chase Inspiration, which is solid, a Wild Hypothesis, and a Fractal Mascot. I'm going to take the first Hypothesis. One of these is pretty good. Being able to Surveil too is just nice, and a lot of the green-blue cards like X-Spells, so... And we'll just take the rare. And we will not be playing Efflorescence. Alright, we opened Silver Quill, which, unfortunate, we can't really play it. There's a Deduce, which will probably end up being our pick here. Pack is okay. I mean, it's got some nice black-green cards, Vibrant Outburst, and the Silver Quill, so... probably 3 or 4 people in the pod will be happy with this pack. We will take Deduce. Looking at our deck here, we have some creatures. Just looking for more powerful spells overall. We could splash a Grapple with the Death, but for now we won't. Okay, here we see an Environmental Scientist, which will be our pick. This card is just solid even in a 2-color deck and opens up splashing a little bit more. When you're base green, in most formats, you'll have the ability to splash more readily because that's what green's good at. Though these days they put treasure on every card, so red could be good at it as well. In this pack, we see a Flashback, a Group Project, a Prismari Charm, and a Potioner's Trove as the better of the cards. This is packs coming from our left, so the person to our left may not be in red, but we will see as the packs go on. So here we have, for us, it would probably be Noxious Newt or Embrace the Paradox. However, there is a strong removal spell in Wander Off. Pretty much a rare that you'll play most of the time in Great Hall of the Biblioplex. And there's also Mind Roots, which I've found to be quite good. Mind Rot that draws you a card or ramps you a land, whatever, is pretty decent. Seeing a lot of white, but that's early game white. Yeah, we could take the Biblioplex. I'm gonna take Mind Roots, just because it's the strongest card in the pack, I think. And we'll see if we end up playing it. Here, there's the black-green land for it, but there's also an Additive Evolution. I've heard some mixed opinions on this card. I personally really like it. 5 mana, 3/3, that every turn you put a counter on a guy and it gains Vigilance. It's kind of just a Luminarch Aspirant, but for 5 mana, and I don't know if you ever played with Luminarch Aspirant, but card's good at every point in the game, so we'll take that. And now we have a choice between Campus Composer, Wisdom of Ages, or some random dudes. Wisdom of Ages, we have only 6 instant sorceries. Uh, so I'm probably not going to take that. I'll probably just take the Campus Composer. I rate this card a little higher than I think most people do. It just reminds me of classic adventure cards. You play this on 4. It has Ward 2. It has 4 toughness. It's hard to kill. And then you can play it for 5, trigger some stuff. Pretty happy with the card. Now we have some more blue-green cards. Muse Seeker, Infirmary Healer, another Mascot. Witherbloom Charm. Not as good on the splash. Probably between the 2 drops here. Muse Seeker is a little better in the blue-green deck because you do have some X spells that can cost 5 or more. Infirmary Healer is definitely a solid card. I think I'll go with the Seeker. Nice. Now we see a Fractal Tender. This is one of the premier uncommons for our archetype. Just a hard-to-kill guy that can make 1, probably 2, 3 threes if it's left unanswered. Alright, we see our first Essence Scatter, so we will take that over Campus Composer, another Fight Spell, and Growth Curve. Growth Curve is too all-in of a card to make me want to play it. It's obviously one of those cards that better at the end of the game when people may not have removal, or if you play it really early and they don't have removal, you just kind of win. But I don't like cards that are Feast or Famine like that, unless they're like rares. And as we reach the end of the pack, we're not going to get too many playables. I'm just going to take a rare flashback here. Second Land or Newt is interesting. I think we'll go with the land. And then we'll play 2 Fractal Mascots. Hungry Graphalon, we're probably not going to play. Alright, pack 3, we open up a green rare in the Trudge. That's awesome. This card's really good. Sometimes you play it as a 1-mana 6/6 that is online in like 3 turns, and then as the game goes on, you can just make it so it's pretty much online immediately. As for this pack, there's a Flow State, another Newt, Royal Treatments, one of the better tricks, +1/+1, Ward 1, and Hexproof for the turn. We see another Mind Roots, and Practical Joke. Pretty alright pack. But we'll definitely take the Trudge. Now we have to take stock up. This card's insane. If you play any constructed format, you'll understand why. Just compare this card to like Quick Study, which is in the same format, right? 3 mana, draw 2 cards, instant speed. Better than Divination. But 3 mana, look at the top 5, pick 2. Just kind of guarantees you'll always hit the cards you want for the following turns. Let you set up your game plan really nice. Matter Bending Mage would be solid. Just a mana war with a little bit extra. We don't need a second Campus Composer. And if we were red-white, we would have good options, but we're chilling. Now we have a green-blue rare land. 2-drop in the Biomancer. Fractalize is solid. And then there's an Embrace the Paradox. So let's look at our deck here. We're at 23. If we cut the lands, we're at 21. So it means we only need 2 or 3 cards to add to our deck. Cards we really don't want to be playing are probably those 2 at the moment. So really we're at like 19 or 18 actually, because we don't want to play that guy. So I'm going to prioritize a spell over the land, and I think I will take the first Embrace the Paradox. Now we see a Paradox Surveyor, which will be our pick. 3 mana, 3/3 reach that finds an X spell or a land. Amazing. We're going to be playing 2 X spells as of right now, and the reach is relevant. More red-white cards. Another Converge card, but we're chilling. Let's preemptively cut these and see if we can fill out the rest of our deck. Unfortunately, there's not much we could play here. Vicious Rivalry. is interesting. It's a rat. It's kind of like a toxic deluge. I mean, I think we're gonna pick it. I don't really want to play any of these other cards, and we do have a Mine Roots that, if we somehow picked up some lands here at the end, we could play. Now we have Homesickness versus Tester of the Tangential. Homesickness is quite good. Draw 2, tap 2 creatures, put stun on them is nice. Tester of Tangential is a really good 2-drop. It gets big quite quickly and easily, and you can kind of keep putting counters on it. I think I'll pick the Tester. Alright, nice. We see as another Tam here. Definitely we'll play 2 of those. Even though it's legendary, it's kind of a, you have to kill it no matter what, so when they do, having a second is nice. Another one of Dina's Guidance, just not really good rares, it seems, that were in our pool. I don't think I would play any of these cards, so we'll just take the Prismari Charm away from somebody, I guess. And now we see the Mine Roots did wheel, so literally nobody's playing black-green in the pot, I don't think. But we'll take the Noxious Newt now. I mean, playing one of those is nice. We do have some 5s and 6s, and we have ways to use our mana with the X spells and Tam. And this is a solid 23 here. We will take a second Composer. Not sure if we'll play it, but we might. Take a blue card, take a green card, take a green card, and yeah. Alright. So if you have seen me draft before, you know I pretty much always play 16 lands in these decks. Question is, do I play 16 lands right now? We do have a couple of so we have 2 6-drops, 3 5-drops. The other half of this is 5 and 2 X spells, though this one could be played cheaply. So that is a lot of high end, which would make you want to play 17 lands. Key here is there any card we want to play over a 17th land? Not the Graphalon. I don't think we want the Shopkeeper's Bane, though one of them could be alright. I don't think we want Muse's Encouragement. A one of Procrastinate's okay. I think I'm going to play 17 lands, as much as I hate to say it. Really don't want to, but I don't really like these other cards that much. Let's check our creature count. 15 is definitely good enough. And it's really higher, right? Because this doesn't count 16, 17. The other half of this could be 18, 19. So we do have a bunch of creatures. Our only removal that we ended up picking up throughout the draft are these double tackles and an essence scatter. So we will have to be picky with our removal, I would say. When you have less of it, you need to make sure you're getting the most value out of it, which sometimes could mean just killing an early creature so you don't lose the game, because we do have a lot of late game, right? We have double Tam, double Composer, these cards that are all good in the later of the game. So I guess we play 17 lands. We do have to make one cut. And what should we cut? I like most of these spells. I think out of all of them, it would either be Embrace. Embrace would probably be the non-creature we cut. If we cut a creature, it would probably be the Landscape Painter. So we have some card draw with Stock Up Deduce, Tam. Yeah, let's just cut the Painter. And we'll run this. Is this the Island Forest count we want? We have exactly 16 across the board. So an extra force is better with the Scientist and Newt, because they will help us get more mana, so I am alright with that. We also do have a double green card. Alright, let's run it. So what this deck is lacking the most is more removal. Could have used a run behind. We only really saw that one. in the first pack, and we talked about it when we saw it, but that's just how it be. When we're not playing red or black, that's where you're going to see the most removal. And we did see a bunch of white removal as well. All right. 2 drop, 3 drop, 4 drop, 6 drop. I like it. That's a better 3 drop to play because it could help find our lands. Goldman Schmacked. People be coming up with the wildest names. Alright, let's get our Muse Seeker going. Probably won't trigger that for a few turns. It's great with the Campus Composer, right? Because it's a 5-mana sorcery, so it would just draw us a card. It is a threatening creature, so yep, he's going to Tome Blast it. I mean, it's not the worst for us because he's doing that on turn 3, so he's not using his mana perfectly, but obviously still would rather our guy just to live. And then here we'll take the Trudge over the land because we already have lands up to 5. Hop to it. I'm not that scared of that card. Here I think we just want to go Forest, play our 4-drop creature. Are we willing to trade our Surveyor for 3 1/1s? I think so. He could have ways to put counters on his guys. I should have attacked before playing my creature. That is something that's a good habit you should have when playing Magic, is to, generally speaking, you're going to want to attack first because it gives your opponent the least amount of information. I kind of just didn't even think about it. Oof, that is going to be difficult to beat. So we're gonna need a tackle badly, which means we might need to stock up just to find it. Even though our mana would say playing the Aqueous Aria would be better, I just don't think we have the time. So we'll stock up. Alright, we hit the tackle, and we have enough mana for Fractal Mascot, so let's just get another one. 4, 5, 6. So we'll attack for 3. Do I play Island and Trudge for 1? I think so. Maybe he won't be inclined to kill it because it won't untap for a couple turns. Next turn we can go Island, Mascot. Turn after that, tap land, Mascot, and just hope that that is good enough. So we're not out of the woods yet. Lorehold's obviously a very strong card. 5 mana, 5/5 flying haste that lets you loot every turn, and it's just really good. Another flyer, huh? So if we Mascot tap the 4/3, we can get in for 3. Do we want to trade with the 4? I think we would be okay trading if he let us. So let's just attack and see if he trades. He doesn't. Okay. And now we'll just play Mascot. Stun the Lorehold. This will be close. I mean, we'll probably lose, but it's a non-zero chance. another flyer. It's going to be an issue because now we don't have lethal, and even if we kill a lore hold, he has lethal. He has lethal in multiple ways, right? If we somehow drew second tackle here, killed both flyers, he would still have a flyer and a tone blast in his yard. So we're pretty much screwed here. He kind of had just a nut, really. I mean, yeah. We lose. Let's just surveil, see what we would have drawn. I'm just curious. Alright. Unfortunate that we lose the first game, I mean. See, and that's, if we just had random removal spells, we would have been in a much better spot, right? Like, most of his guys were pretty vulnerable to just hard removal, but because we're green-blue, we did not have an abundance of that. We did have a reach guy, but we traded it early. Not that it would have done a good job of blocking any of his creatures, because he gave the 4/3 a counter, but sometimes your cards just don't line up well. Alright, we're on the play at least. Kind of slow hand, but we get to deduce on 2, so. Get to hold up Essence Scatter, though I doubt we'll be Essence Scattering anything on turn 2. Another 6-drop isn't the best. Maybe he plays a rare here and we counter it. Newt. We're okay with Newt. Infirmary Healer. I think we're okay with Infirmary Healer too. Just draw a card, try to find some stuff. Alright, we'll play the Muse Seeker and then hold up our spell. Next turn we can go Embrace, we draw an extra card, and then we're off to the races. Gonna hope for a big creature here from him. That card's broken, so we'll counter that. Draw, ditch a land. He'll still get to play something good, yeah. So we could go Tam land to actually get some creatures going. But he has 3 cards in hand, he could just kill it before we get value, so I think I'm just willing to take the damage and play Embrace the Paradox here. Though it is already not looking good. This is the issue with blue-green, we just don't have a lot of interaction. Three, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we'll just take it. Unfortunately, resolves. And now we'll Embrace. Draw a card. Draw 3 cards. Put a land into play. Alright, so we have 3, 6, we'll have up to 7 mana here. I think we just have to Mascot. Stem the bleeding a bit. Just tap one of the bigger creatures. Pass turn. Next turn, 3, 6, 7 with 8 mana. We can go Tam plus Hypothesis for 3 if we want a double spell. Discard 2, we're fine with that. We have an extra Tam. And 3, 6, 7 mana. We can just give him the land at this point. It's pretty brutal. We'll take it. Alright, removal is good. So if we could Tam into tackle, which I don't hate, or we can just Mascot again. What is better? If he doesn't have removal, Mascot's a little better because it can block a lot of the things. And then he could... So we're going to have to kill the Researcher with the removal spell, otherwise he'll start reanimating stuff. I think it's riskier, but I'm going to Mascot. Yeah, it's weird card to splash. Keeps looking at his newt. Does he need an X spell? Oh yeah, he has the Infirmary heal, but probably have to chump this turn with the Muse Seeker. No, maybe not if he's just doing that attack. Let's see what he does. If he had removal, he would just have killed the Mascot. Yeah, he does have an X spell. 5/5. I mean, the 6/6 still bigger than the 5/5 at least. Surveil both, okay. So 36, we have 7 mana. Trudge. We'll have 4 mana left. So we need to tackle, and we need to tackle the Grave Researcher, otherwise he'll just bring back cards every turn. So let's start there. Draw. Land is good because we can play a 5-drop, but what would we discard is the question. If we go land Hypothesis, we draw off Muse Seeker. Tam could start gaining us life. Maybe it's the Trudge. Yeah. We could Evolution to give the Mascot Vigilance, but I'm not sure how relevant that is. I think I'd rather do this for 4 just so we get an extra card off the Muse Seeker and we get to Surveil 2 to set up our next draws. So 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. If we next turn we go Tam, play a land, and then we'll draw Surveyor, and then we can play Surveyor. Alright. Close game here. We just need him to brick like 1 or 2 more turns, or just like have random irrelevant creatures, and I think we'll be fine. Keeps looking at his graveyard. Is this for Lewin, or is this because he drew a pull from the grave? Ah, because you have that. Okay. It's a good one. He needs cards that target, so he may not have that yet. We would trade with a Newt here if he offers it with the 4/4, which he probably should. Not that I really want to trade my 4/4, it's just kind of necessary. Yeah. No other attack would be good, I think, for him. Alright, we'll trade. And then we'll enact the plan we talked about. He should probably activate Lulwyn, but... Alright, so we go Tam. We go land. We draw a card, gain a life. I guess we loot also, I didn't think about that. At this point, we probably don't need stock up. And then we'll play Paradox Surveyor. Hit another land. Pass a turn. Okay, that doesn't really do anything. And our 6/6 is holding off his board well. So we're kind of at the point now we have to figure out how we're actually going to win the game, because we've used most of our better cards. And this Muse Seeker is actually kind of an issue, so I don't really want to draw extra cards and discard them. So we have 10 mana. While Evolution and Composer is better, like as using our mana better, I kind of just want to get counters on the Tester of the Tangential, so I'm going to play him. And then I'm going to play the Additive Evolution. Start giving some guys Vigilance, perhaps, and moving counters over. Let's make... I guess we make the Surveyor into a 4/4. And then, sure, we'll move a counter over to... the Fractal. Probably Tam, actually. I just want to make a bunch of creatures that are bigger than his biggest creatures right now. And we'll wait to attack. Five, 9, 10 mana. He hits land again, that's good for us. He can gain a bunch of life off the Infirmary Healer. Next turn, we can compose, cast the other half of compose. We'll draw an extra card off the Muse Seeker, put 2 counters on the Tester. And then I want to start making these creatures into just slightly bigger than the 5/5 and attacking. For 1, so you could I don't think that was correct. I think you should have done it for the full amount. Alright, so we'll play Composer. We'll play the Aqueous Aria. Play land. I guess we'll Deep Sight, because we have the extra land to discard. Now we will put a counter on the we don't really need Tam anymore. Or the Surveyor. We just need something to have 5 power to attack, right? So this guy's reach, but he's black-green, probably doesn't have any reach things. So let's go the Surveyor and attack for 5. Yep. Alright. That is a good one. Gets to spend pretty much all his mana, but he does get a 2/1 and draw 2. Drew a land. Okay, second composer is nice. I'm just gonna cast pretty much all my cards now. Just for increment triggers. And he already discarded his Wrath. And then now we can put a counter on the Flyer. He can attack. Tam can attack. And I guess the Tester of the Tangential can attack also. The Fractal Mascot could have attacked as well, but I kind of want to keep him for, like, I want him to have less creatures in play. Three, 6, 7. We still have a bunch of creatures left for if he has the overrun effect. Alright, I mean, we definitely just win next turn. Sure. He could have been using Lulwyn this like whole time here. Now he starts. I mean, you can gain 2 off the Trove. Which you might as well do. He's making a bunch of chump blockers. We're down to 7, we'll go to 6. This will make us draw a card with the Seeker down to 5. He's just leaving just 3 creatures back in case he can get the Grave Researcher. Yeah, let's make another Flyer. To increment 3 times, or 2 times, and draw a card. Quandrix Trudge. Could be kind of sick here. Let's put a counter on one of the Flyers. Send in both Flyers, Tam, Fractal Mascot. Maybe a 3/3. I mean, if we attack with all, he has 7 blockers. We have 4, 7, 8, 9, 10 attackers. You know, it's still not lethal, but something like that. And we have this to make a 5/5 if he blocks the 3/3 with the 5/4. Yep. The countering, unless they pay 2, probably won't come up. We do have to draw a card. Ditch that. Kill that. And I'll just play this. Do we win? We have exactly enough cards left that if he gets back to Tidecaller and plays a spell, we'll have one card to draw for the turn. Well, let's make some blocks. Let's throw an extra guy there. And maybe an extra guy here, just in case he has some weird shit. Oh, close one. Could have made more attacks, perhaps. I was just worried about the Menace Overrun card. But close game, we win. Nice. Let's go on to the next one. Alright, looks good. We have some of our interaction early, which is great. We can go turn 2 Tester, turn 3 Wild Hypothesis, or hold up counter spell / use a removal spell. I do hate that when you play the Tester and it has no counters, it asks you if you want to move counters off of it. Definitely kind of annoying. I think we will just hold up our spells since we drew Quandrix Charm. We have 2 counter spells up, might as well hold both of them. Stock up, we will counter that. Put a counter on our guy. And then I think I'm supposed to just Hypothesis for 3 actually. Get another counter, set up our draws. I think at this point Muse Seeker isn't great. A 5th land for Fractal Mascot seems good enough for me. And then we'll attack for 3. I wish it was an untapped land, because then we could tackle and scatter. Brotherhood End, are you kidding me? That is a yikes. And this is just another one of the examples of the Mystical Archive ruining my life. Alright, we drew another mascot, but we have 5 lands. So we lose out on a lot of tempo here. If we were able to play the mascot, we would be really far ahead, I think. Double Mystical Archive into Skywell. Pretty nice. Into Lorecaster, great. Keep the land. I don't really like our spot anymore. I mean, 6/6 is hard for red to kill. Blue could bounce it, but at least it has an ETB. He has 7 mana now, so he could maybe play the Visionary's Dance. Or a rare. Playing land before Rapturous Moment is definitely incorrect. But we'll see if it ends up mattering. Discards 2 2-drops. At least one was the Dire Dreams, which could have gotten him a lot of value if the game went longer, or goes longer. But looking at his deck, I definitely think he wants the game to go longer. Alright, we will attack for 6. play another mascot, and just hope these 2/6/6 tramples is good enough to win the game. Very well could be. Especially with the removal in our hand, we will be able to kill a potential blocker. Oof, there's one of the guys. That could be really bad for us. The rare. He has probably a stress stream. Would be my guess here, if he was trying to make us block his, I guess it could be any card, but alright, so this is only once during each of your turns, so he's forced to block. So what happens if we fight it before damage, right? Like, if we fight it sorcery speed, it has 6 damage on it, and then he blocks and we trample for 5 plus, yeah, so we win, right? So we have 12 points in trample and he has 1 toughness. Let's go. We got there. Double mascot, showing its power as a 6/6 tempo card. Alright, we're 1 win away from hitting gold, which is nice. And after that first loss, we've rattled off 2 wins in a row. Pretty good. Alright, we have 3 islands. Yikes, we are kind of forced to mulligan because we're on the play. If we were on the draw, I'd be tempted. Okay. Here, I might get rid of tap land because we have a guaranteed 3rd land here. And I like both of these 5-drops. You could get rid of the Embrace the Paradox, technically, and hope that the combo of these 3 cards is good enough to win. But I think I'm gonna just do this. And we'll start with the Cuboid Colony, which we would rather that get countered than the Scientist, so we're gonna wait till his turn to play it, in case he had Essence Scatter. Alright, play Scientist, increment, get Island, attack for 2. Alright, not bad start. If we draw a playable card on this turn, that would be really sick. Doesn't even have to be amazing, just literally anything that we could play. He's got a pretty solid start as well. Let's see what he discards. Glass, right? So our pressure is kind of eliminated, and we didn't draw land. So that's pretty bad. Because now we just whiff on a whole turn here. And then if he goes 4th land, play a 5-drop spell, draw a card, we're pretty behind. Sleight of hand. That's fine. So something to note when you're playing Magic. This might sound like mean or whatever, but it's just the truth. When you're playing against a worse player, some factors that you could take in to give you confidence during the game is the fact that whenever they're given the option to pick something like with sleight of hand or scry and surveil, there's just a good chance that they're just doing the wrong thing, right? So like, I'm not too worried usually when I'm playing against a weaker player and they're casting cards like this, because a lot of times they could be making the wrong decision very easily, and then I feel better about the game, even if it's, you know, that's just, you know, they could still be picking the right cards, obviously, right? But like, it's just something I would tell myself when I was playing in tournaments, was as a way to feel better about them gaining card advantage or something. It's just these little things that, you know, don't demoralize you. Like, oh my god, my opponent just cast sleight of hand into flow state and then got 2 triggers. Like, at least we're, you know, maybe pick some bad cards. All right, we'll try our additive evolution. He has to have Daze here is the only counter spell in the format, I believe, or Force of Will, I guess, technically, that could counter this. And then we'll put the counter on the Scientist, as it is weaker and can attack this turn. Could have like an Abrade. Alright, nice. Getting the evolution down is good. But he did draw a bunch of cards, right? So he's probably going to have a good play this turn. And we're stuck with 7 lands. At least we can draw 3 next turn. I'd rather just draw like another, like a Fractal Mascot. Just slam it. Another stock up, okay. I mean, he's digging through his deck. Question is, does he have actual cards that will close out the game? Or does he just have draw spells and removal? Another land, really bad for us. Alright, so when we trigger our additive evolution here, we have 2 choices, right? What do you guys think would be the correct choice? Because they're both 3/3s. My opinion, the answer is the Environmental Scientist, because of Run Behind, which becomes 3 mana when it targets an attacking creature, and it would kill our 3/3. Well, if he like bounces the Scientist, it's a creature. Alright, so here's Mockery. That's fine. It allows us to resolve our Embrace the Paradox here, because he tapped out, which is nice. We'll let him resolve all the loots and surveil before we cast the Embrace, just to give him the least amount of information possible. Keeps on top. Deal our damage. Draw our cards. Alright, we somehow drew more lands. 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. 7 lands left in our 25 card deck. That leaves an under 30% chance of drawing a land, which, by the way, if you ever hear me say that, it just guarantees that I draw a land the next turn most of the time. When you tell the universe your odds of something happening being low, the universe is like, yeah, well, it's gonna happen, punk. Deluge Virtuoso, whatever, I'm not too worried. See, this is what I mean. Where are his win cons? He's looked at probably about 10, 13, 15 plus this, like probably 18 cards. Alright, we'll play the Muse Seeker first, see if he Essence Scatters it. Alright, and now we'll try Tam. Play land. Maybe he kills it before we get to play the spell. It's usually the case. Unbind. Alright, well, at least we can draw it next turn. And we could use it next turn. And we'll just put a counter on the Muse Seeker, make it a better blocker. Let's see, does he have any payoffs here? Any big cards? He's tapping the Channeler for mana when he already has 7, which I think is a little weird. Okay, there's the Abrade. Loot, +1. Discards a good card, so that can't be great for us as he has 2 cards left. He's finally starting to apply some pressure. Well, let's see if Tam resolves. Land. Okay, he's got Mockery again. So he decided to keep Mockery over a 4-mana 3/4 that makes a 3/3 flyer. Well, we'll put a counter and we will surveil on the end step here. This last card is Run Behind. That's pretty unfortunate. It is not. We'll also make an upkeep step in case we don't hit anything. Because with a Surveil, we would still end up having 5 mana left, which allows us to play most cards in our deck. Alright, that is not good. He's finally cast something that is pretty strong. I think I'm going to Surveil now before I decide if I want to block. Tester isn't great. Should I block? It is his biggest ground pressure card, but if I do block and I draw a tackle, I can't kill one of the flyers. So I don't think I can block here. And then we will upkeep Surveil. If I see Fractal Mascot, I'll be pissed. It is a Trudge. I like oddly knew it was going to be Trudge. It is a 6/6 that can attack next turn, technically. But he has the Chumpers, and we need to deal with the Flyers, so I guess we kind of have to put it in the graveyard. Alright. That's pretty good here because we can put the counter on it with Additive Evolution. And then we will attack. Hopefully he just blocks with the 3/3 flyer. Not that I don't think he ever would, but alright. Make a 3/3. Let's put an upkeep stop again. Now the issue is our only outs become the tackles. Because if we leave a Fractal Mascot on top, we will die. Because we don't have 6 mana afterwards. And we're pretty dead here just because he made another 3/3. It's not attacking with both. Let's say he has nothing else in his hand from this point of the turn on. You put a counter on a guy. Attack with all. If I take 6 in the air, I go to 5, and even if I kill one, I die, but... If I block, and then he blocks on his turn, we have a chance of living. If I take 10, assuming he has nothing, he's forced to block both guys. And then, so if I draw removal, I could win. Alright, it's risky, but I think it's our only out here is to just take the damage, hope he has nothing, and... he has another creature. We lose. We lose! Tam. Doesn't do anything. Land does. Literally nothing. So close, bro. So close. I mean, we didn't hit the removal anyway. It's so brutal. Yeah, just not having a large amount of removal spells is, as you can see, is coming up in all the games that we're losing, right? And that is the issue with blue-green. As powerful as a lot of the blue-green cards are, just not having access to good removal will be the end of you. Let's look at our board. Should we play the Procrastinate? Just because we have nothing else? It's not a great card, but we might be forced to play it here. Alright, let's put it in the deck. Let's take out what has been mid. I like most of these cards. I mean, Composer was good. Maybe 2 Composer isn't necessary. Embrace the Paradox has been kind of slow. We also drew a bunch of lands that game, by the way. No, they're probably the biggest reason we lost. Guess I'll take out 1 Composer for the Procrastinate and see if that's any better. Just to have some more interaction here. You could take out the Embrace. But I don't really know what's better. Alright, we'll keep. We have stock up. Oh, we could turn 1 Trudge? Hell yeah. I mean, we have no 2-drop, so we could have waited till turn 2, but it having 1 less counter is the same as playing it on turn 1, because it loses the counter, right? So, in case we draw a 2-drop now, we'll be able to play it. which we do not. We could Hypothesis for 1, just as Surveil 2, but I don't think that's the right play. That's a good card. Here, I could just tackle right now and kill off the Lumaret. And I don't hate it. That card kind of makes their deck work a lot of the time, so let's go for it. This has Ward. I would have killed that if it didn't have Ward. But I just wanted to interact in some way this turn to stem bleeding. Yeah, now they're forced to spend their turn killing that because that's about to untap. And then now I wish that was not a tap land. Let's just make a 3/3 so we could potentially block the Thornfish Striker. We see 2 lands. We could keep both because it guarantees us letting us go Tender into Mascot. I don't really like having to draw 2 lands in a row here, but considering we have the Paradox Gardens, but at least we have stock up to like draw some good spells after. So I will keep it begrudgingly. Now, if he just kills our guy here and then he gets to attack for a bunch, we're pretty fucked regardless. Yeah. This is 6 damage. Yeah, I mean, it's probably a GG just because he gets to play removal and stuff, and he found another way to gain life. He should definitely attack with a Thornfish Striker here. That was wildly incorrect. In my opinion, at least. But now we'll do this. We'll tap the Teacher's Pest. Pass a turn, make a 3/3, and I mean, we could be okay now, depending on what he has. Sure, we'll discard the land. Alright, we'll stock up. 5 spells. Both good and, I mean, I wish it was 3 spells or something. We probably want the Fractal Mascot. And then we could take Essence Scatter just to be safe for this turn. Or we could take Paradox Surveyor and just play it right now. That's probably better. Should get another creature in play. Alright, I guess we'll take the tap land and play it. Sure. All those guys getting trampled, but I don't think that's too relevant. His attacks look pretty bad, yeah. Alright, we will, I guess we just play both our cards. Start with the Fractal Mascot, triggering the Increment. And then we could tap down probably the Teacher's Pest again. We'll have an upkeep stop for our Paradox Gardens, and we will be making another 3/3, so we could probably at least attack with 1 creature here. And he can make his Mindful Biomancer a 4/4, so if we attacked, it would have to be with the Mascot. If he blocks with Biomancer and Thornfish Striker, we only kill one of them, but the Thornfish Striker is such a high priority threat that I think that's fine. Yeah, he's also at 28, so him taking it makes a lot of sense. We will upkeep Surveil again. We only have 3 mana to work with afterwards, but Maybe it's better to just draw and then do it next turn in case we, yeah, because now we can actually cast that. Let's see. So his pest is untapping, and we're not triggering another 3/3. Do we attack with both mascots or just one? If we attack with both, we have 3, 4, 5, 6 blockers left to his 5 attackers. One has menace. Is that enough? Probably. I just want to be able to get him dead here. Because now he's kind of at a point where next turn, if we get to attack again, he'll be in a pretty bad spot. I don't think we're going to surveil again, because now pretty much all our draws are good, right? If we hit a land for Tam, it's good. And if we hit spells, it's fine. He surveils a pest to the graveyard. It's good value. Land, we're happy to see a land. So yep, he gets pest back, triggers life gain. We do have to worry about trample and removal working side by side. Because he could, depending on our blocks, like kill a guy and then win the game if we don't block correctly. But he also has to worry about if he swings out, we have 12 points guaranteed on the swing back. Okay, so he had removal for Tam. And then he swings out. I think he dies. He gains 1 life. He gains 2 life. Is that why? No, but we would. Yeah, some of our creatures would live. That's the biggest issue for him. Teacher's pest attack. Sure. It's kind of just free. Because he can get it back. Gain an extra life. So he's essentially, yeah, so he's at 13, which means we will have to attack with another creature. I didn't think about the fact that now that Tam's dead, lands aren't a good draw. So let's see. If we attack all out, we have 12 points of trample. He has 4 blockers. He takes exactly 13. Right? Say he, and if he blocks some of the trample damage, let's say he blocks like 3 of it, that's 9. Then he chumps everywhere else, right? Chump, chump, chump. Take 13. Block a trampler guy. Chump, chump, chump. Take 6, 9, 10. I think this is lethal. Yeah. Alright, nice. So we do some math. And that is gold. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Yeah. And that's also our 3rd win, which means we get at least 1,000 gold back, which is good. Let's try to hit that 4th win. I mean, so far on the channel, we've only had 7 winner drafts. This one, every game has been a grind. We've gotten lucky, some of them. So we really need... Alright, this is a good hand. The Newt looks pretty good in this hand. Maybe we wanted 2 Newts in the deck. We had some opportunities to pick them. And it helps cast our 6 drops and 5 drops that we picked as well. So that, re-going over the draft, that might have been an alternative, like, good decision to make. Scrollsmith with no value. I am okay with that. question is here, do we stock up or hold up Quandrix Charm? It's probably just cast stock up, right? Do it while we can. We'll take our only form of interaction, and so next turn we're going to have 5 mana. We're probably just going to play a 5-drop. Turn after, we have 6 mana. Between the Wild Hypothesis, I don't think it's Embrace. I'm curious if I want the Tester's Tangential as just a cheaper play that could become useful at some point here. Or do we just want the Hypothesis because it will help us draw later, like it'll surveil 2 for us? We'll do the Hypothesis. Pass a turn. If he plays Archer Hunger here, I'll be really mad. Take 3. Kills the Newt. I don't hate the play. It does make our plays worse. So now we have a choice of Hypothesis for 3 or hold up Quandrix Charm. Since the 3/3 can't really block the Scrollsmith, I think it's hold up Quandrix Charm. And hope he just casts something that we could counter. If he does nothing, that's also fine with us. Of course he plays a 2-drop. Yeah, I mean, that obviously didn't work out well, but maybe he would have played something else. Okay, play Island. If we additive Evolution, it could be a 4/4 that blocks, but Fractal Tender is just so much more value if we get to untap with it. You might just play the draw 3 just because we already have 6 cards in hand and he doesn't have as much. But if he has removal, he should just kill the Tender here. He already used his Wilt in the Heat, but yeah. Alright, we draw 3 lands. If I was him, I may have attacked with the Joined Researchers too. It's hard for me to click block there. Okay, Scrollsmith, get back Wilt. Colonian Tackle. Alright, well, we play land. So this is going to cost 4 mana. Can't really counter it. How does this read? If you put a counter on it, create a 3/3. So if we additive evolution, yeah, additive evolution seems pretty decent here. And then we could just put a counter on this guy. Discard a tap land. So now when he kills off one of the 4/4s, probably the Fractal Tender. Since he has to pay the ward, it'll be pretty much his whole turn. We'll still have a 4/4 back to block, and then we could start making multiple 4 4 toughness creatures. The unfortunate part is that all his guys have first strike, so attacking into him is pretty impossible. We'll need to find a flyer or removal. It doesn't feel good using removal on things that have already gotten value, but there's also nothing you can really do about that. So, here, what do we do? What do we do? Probably play Surveyor. Okay, put lands to the bottom is fine. Play land. Do we tackle or do we hold up Charm? I don't hate tackling the researchers just because we have more cards in hand than our opponent, and we don't want him having us both draw a bunch. And then we still have another removal spell left, which is nice. So let's do that. Let's put a counter on a guy. And then he can attack, so he has 12 toughness. If he then removes our other guy, he can attack for 6 because the Surveyor can't really block, so I think we'll just hold back. We just have to hope that our set of cards are better, which only, I would say, these two have the potential. This card isn't too great. Another Scrollsmith, jeez. It's a lot of Scrollsmiths. Yeah. It only costs 2 mana also. Pretty nice. And he has another removal spell. Wow, this guy is firing on all cylinders, huh? Alright, Tam is pretty nice. So we'll do that. Draw a card. Then we'll hold up Quandrix Charm. Put a counter here. Attack for 4. Alright, does he have even more removal? Might have been to put the counter on Tam. Jesus Christ, man. I think we lose now. This is extremely unreasonable. I just want to point this out here. Like, this set of what just occurred in this game is beyond ridiculous. Like, all these cards play around my instant speed spell. These are all uncommons. And they're all getting back a card that normally costs 4 mana. But because of how this interaction works, it's 2 mana. That's really frustrating. And then 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 lands from us as well. Yeah, I don't think you should ever expect any limited games to go like that, but it is what it is, and we have officially not 7-1'd our first draft. Only 3 wins, so we only get 1,000 gems back, so it'll take us a little longer to get to that Mythic that we were hoping to get to. Let's take one last look at the deck, see what went wrong, and what we would do next time. So, like I've been preaching throughout the draft, our lack of interaction was a key player here. These were pretty much all of our interactive spells, including the mascot, so 5, and we ended up bringing in the Procrastinate, which we never saw. Would have been decent, I think. Other than that, I did like a good amount of our cards. I think these cards are all pretty solid here. These selection of cards are less good. I would have definitely liked a newt. I know we've like an extra newt, like looking at the deck now. We saw a couple, and I think we could have picked one over the second land, which probably would have been better. What would we have cut for the second newt? Perhaps one of the mascots, or probably just would have been one of the mascots. Even though we were cutting a 6-drop to add a mana ramper, one of the ways that green blue can, keep up without having removal is just being faster than your opponents in terms of just like mana advantage. So it definitely could have helped there. Um, Other than that, in terms of how the deck performed, I think we got a little unlucky in some of the games. I mean, we drew a bunch of lands in 2 of the games. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully next time we do better. And yeah.